is Federated Auto Parts Raceway at I-55 in Pevely, Missouri. That is the site of round 4 of the Dirt Car Esports Street Stock Series. My name is Dylan Coyle, joined alongside Mike Warren. Mike, we've had some great racing action in the first 3 rounds. We had to do a slight rain delay of round 4. We'll get to that in January, but qualifying underway already. 2 laps to set a time for 6 heat races.
Isn't this only like your second race, technically? Just asking for a friend.
It's my first race, technically. We don't, yeah, you know, sickness. There's been a lot of delays in my sense, but we've got another person who's sick tonight, and that man is Chase Rodman.
That is true. But, you know, Dylan, the interesting thing about this one, this is going to be the first time out of 4 weeks we go to a bull ring. It's been all half miles so far. Tonight's the first time we head to a bull ring racetrack here at I-55, and it's going to be interesting to see how everybody – the biggest thing I've noticed in running street stocks on here, you have less time to think on tracks like this. You got to know what you're doing. You got to set up your moves almost a turn ahead of what's going to happen. Where unlike the other tracks, you got about 2-3 seconds to think, all right, how am I going to take this corner? That's what I look to see tonight, and I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see. Also, something that's a little different coming into this one, this is the first time we've had qualifying points only work with 1 session. We've had the preliminary split the last 3 times. That's not the case tonight.
Yeah, not the case tonight at all. We're going to do basically the 6 heats, no 2 preliminary rounds, which will make it a little bit of a quicker night overall. But if anything, I think the nerves get shot up a little bit more as we're seeing qualifying times just hovering above that 15-second flat time. Every time I look at Pevely, Mike, I cannot believe that the Ironman 55 is a thing. Seeing sprint cars go around here, it's going to be difficult for these street stocks. I think compared to some of the other tracks we've been to, we're going to see a lot more body contact here.
Yes and no. I think if this track is able to put 2 really good lines, I think you're going to see a lot of guys try to pick the top or the bottom on this one. But again, these are going to go. You don't have as much time. That is going to be the biggest thing to set up passes and be able to get through. I'm also curious how this invert's going to go. It's going to be a real top 24 invert essentially for the first time here. So we'll see how that will play out. And as we've seen, these qualifying points are huge throughout this point standing so far as Tyler Jackson comes in tonight as the point leader. He's got a 2-point lead over Kyle Jarrett. Billy Northcutt 3rd, 4 points back. Adam Carlisle 4th, 15 points back. And Cruz Caudell is 5th, 18 points back. And I looked at the points a little bit earlier today. Those qualifying points are key no matter what.
Absolutely. I mean, this top 3, top 5, if you want to make the blanket a little bit larger, they're all under a blanket right now. And I can see that the top 5 start to break away, top 3 break away even more. The most impressive thing is what you're not seeing in that point standings is the top 3 don't even have wins in their column yet. But because of that consistency, because of them making the races, they've been able to have a little bit of separation, but not much between each other. I'm Dylan Coyle, joined alongside Mike Warren. It's feature time here. We've seen 5 heats, 2 last chance showdowns, and now we've got 35 laps for 23 drivers gridded up. Mike, this is going to be a fun one.
So I'm very curious to see how guys are going to maneuver their way through traffic because it's already a little bit slick, and really who comes out with it. Keep an eye on a couple of guys. We talked about guys like Drew Hopkins and Tyler Jackson had to come from the last chance showdowns. How are they going to work their way up through the field? It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top, and this is the first bull ring of the season.
Let's go through the top 23, all 23 competitors very quickly. Dylan Thomas is going to be the pole sitter. Isaac Salas, Christopher Hill, Dustin Fryer. They are your top 4. Bradley Beans, Sean Castle, J.C. Floyd, Joshua Ringer, Colt Curry, Daniel Stifler, your top 10. It's going to be till Kyle Jarrett that we see a championship competitor in 11th. Logan Catellus, Adam Carlisle, Ty Dickinson, Grady Ehrman, Tyler Jackson currently leading the standings. Drew Hopkins, Sean Hayes, Billy Northcutt, another driver in the championship battle. Joshua Thomas, Bryce Dickinson, Ronald Piles, and Kyle Ramsey, your 23. This is going to be interesting to see who's going to be in the championship conversation, who is potentially a pretender, who is a real contender. It's going to all come down to round 4 out of 10 right now. Green is in the air, 35 laps to go. Isaac Salas looking to get him a little bit loose in the outside, and he's going to get a run.
Thomas just got loose on his own coming through turn number 1 and 2. Salas going to bring it around on the top off of turn number 4, and as they go to the line, it's going to be Salas as your race leader as he'll click off lap number 1, but still a long way to go to this one. It's 35 laps, a lot of time here around Beasley.
It's pretty much 11 and a half or so miles. How 11 and 2/3 miles is what we're running here. Unless my math is completely off, then don't listen to me. But nonetheless, this is going to be fun to see what Thomas is going to be able to do because he's got a fast car as well. And Isaac Salas is starting to get a little bit away from him, running a bit of a higher line as we enter lap 4 of 35.
Salas right there, a couple of cars trying to maneuver their way up through the field. The key here for the guys in the middle is patience versus go time. We're going to see who's going to be able to do that the best. But right now, Salas with a good jump. And we got 6 car lengths or so on Thomas, holding on to that second spot as they come through the corner once again. Not really first battle we have on the tracks, going back to that number 4 and 5 spot as Castle and Means going to be side by side.
Speaking about the championship competitors, Kyle Jarrett started in 11th, already up to 7th on lap 6. Tyler Jackson up to 13th from 16th. Billy Northcutt only up 2 positions, 19th to 17th, and he's in the thick of things. So this is going to be intense for all 3 of them. This is where we start to see if positions 4 and 5, Carlisle himself is able to get back into this championship hunt. Yellow is out. As trying to see exactly what happened at this small racetrack.
Go, as Cruz Caudell was the one who picked up the victory in that one a week ago. If you were joining us last week, Sal's going to try to take control of that as we go back to green. As he's got Thomas on the outside, we'll see if he can make a move if he gets in the lead.
Salas looks like he's sliding up, but Thomas is not going to give him the space, so Thomas is going to have some of a run down here on the outside. Salas slides up this time in 4, and they do a bit of a crossover. So at the line, it is led by Thomas, and Thomas now crosses him over and slides up in front of him. Guys, boys, be careful here. We're only a third of the way in.
Right now, Salas and Thomas still side by side as they continue to switch lanes down the front straightaway. They go into turn number 1 and 2, and all this behind him is allowing Kyle Jarrett, who's cracked the top 5 now, to work his way up. JC Floyd also looking for his back-to-back top 3 finish, as that 18 car already up to 3rd. Some great battles going on early going, and now you can see Jackson in the picture toward the back in that green car.
Man, you're not kidding. And we see some blinking. Was that Salas? I wasn't quite sure who that was up in front. As we see, I think a big crunch almost happened down the backstretch with that opening. And Sean Hayes, yes, he's in the infield for some reason and struggling to get out. I think his engine just blew. So yellow flag is out because of that. That is an interesting.
He wouldn't be the first guy to stay out on the track with his engine blue. I mean, that might have happened last week in a preliminary feature. I don't know who on that. Might be the one talking right now.
That's fair. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Catellus got loose and got into Hayes, and Hayes slid down into the infield, blew his engine from something, and the yellow came out because of it. So that was a weird caution. That was a weird caution, but we get a bit of a reset on lap 12 of 35. We're creeping in on that halfway point.
Which is at the pit gate on lap 18.
Thank you.
On the back straightaway.
I appreciate that. 17 and a half is
yes,
half
but
of 35.
Yes, but the pit gate is on the back straightaway, so it'd be lap.
You're right. You're very right there. You know, it would be really funny if everyone can pick up the fact that we bicker all the time on the road.
You'd have to be on time once for that.
Okay. I can't even say anything. I am on time to the second sometimes.
That's true. But right now, great battle we have up front, and JC Floyd, back-to-back weeks. He just started running with us last week for the first time at Bristol, and he's on track to go back-to-back podiums here. Kyle Jarrett also doing a great job up to 4th. And keep an eye on Jackson. I believe he's sitting in that 12th spot, if my math is correct, which, believe me, I didn't get into PR because I was a math major, so we'll be okay.
Even though you deal with stats all the time, but that's okay. We'll ignore that.
That's different.
Can you win the championship, though, missing 2 races if you're JC Floyd?
It's not far-fetched, but a lot's got to happen, and he's got to get a lot of help. And he probably needs every qualifying point possible.
You're not wrong there, as Tyler Jackson and Billy Northcutt now 10th and 11th. It's about consistency to win a championship. Green flag back out into the air. Isaac Salas on the inside here. He's going to try and slide underneath JC Floyd. Floyd still side by side as they head in the 3.
Salas and Floyd still side by side as they come off the corner at the line. It's going to be Salas, not by much. I thought it was Floyd. It is going to be Floyd as they hit the line. Those two wheel to wheel, door to door as they head down into 3 and 4 as Floyd continues to hold on to this one. And it looks like we got some action going on behind us here as we stay green. Jackson really running that top line, trying to make his way through.
You keep missing it, but Floyd got hit twice, and he just yelled out, ARG, if you will, over the live chat system. He was going for it, gunning for first. He got pushed out of there twice. Not happy at all. Floyd's going to come back buzzing.
Well, Jared holding on to that number 2 spot now as he moves into position. JC Floyd now going to go to the inside, going to try to regain that number 2 spot as we click off lap number 16 on the board, just about at the halfway point. Salas is held on, but now he's got Kyle Jarrett, who is a man on a mission, coming through 3 and 4 as he looks to take the lead.
Dean Reynolds saying, do not speak in the chat. Again, everyone getting a little bit upset with each other. I don't know if it's because of the close quarters battling, but nonetheless, Salas does not have the big advantage with these 2 drivers going side by side behind him. He starts to get a bit of an advantage because Jared had to deal with the sliding JC Floyd right there. Dylan Thomas still involved in the picture. Top 4 have broken away from the rest of the pack.
Leader is around toward the back of the field. Tyler Jackson just got out of shape, and now he's going to go to the rear. A tough break for the driver of the 8 car. It looked like a little bit of a pinball, but he's got a long way to go and a short time to get there at this point. But back up to the lead, it's all Salas, but we got a 3-car battle for second as Floyd works his way back past Jared, and Thomas is right there as well.
Caution has come out. Joshua Ringer was about to be the first lapped car to get involved here in the top 4 battle. But now on lap 20, we're coming to 15 to go. Oh boy, this is going to be fun, Mike Warren.
Oh, it is, as this shower of street stock power continues to go onto your airwaves here on this beautiful Wednesday night at the Federated Auto Parts Raceway at I-55. There's more sun here than there was in North Carolina tonight, that's for sure.
yeah, there's my goodness, wasn't today the shortest day of the year?
It is the winter solstice, yes.
Yes, that's the official name. I know the official name for it. I know what a solstice is. But it's what it means, is what I tried to say.
yes. You know, good time to finish up your Christmas shopping.
Have you finished up your Christmas shopping?
Yes, I have been done for a while. I have been done for a while.
What did you get me?
An alarm clock.
Okay, fine. We got a good race on our shoulders. Man, that was a good one. That was quick. That was quick and witty.
I'm good like that.
Okay, don't go too far there. We're going to go around 2 more times before we get back to the green flag here. But I'll tell you what, my pick to win this one is JC Floyd.
You know, that seems to be like a popular pick. I don't know what it is about that that really good-looking blue and yellow 18 car, but you're the second person in the last 2 weeks that has picked him to win. And, well, we'll see if he can do it. Like I said, he's looking at back-to-back podiums right here, but Isaac Salas in that dirt car has been looking pretty good.
Yes, absolutely. And I will say this, though. Isaac Salas, who did have a bit of contact with Floyd, is not going to get any favors from JC if they do come together here. And then we'll look if Kyle or Dylan are able to take advantage of that opportunity. We're about to go for green flag racing once again with 15 laps to go here at I-55. Back underway.
Al Jarrett had to get on the binders just a little bit there, as you can see him wanting to pass to the left. But as we know, those that play iRacing, you cannot do that. Meanwhile, a little bit of pinball through the field. We got one going around, and that's going to bring Yellow back out onto the speedway again, and I think this could be the first of many over the last 15 laps, just trying to work their way to the front.
Yeah. Yeah, Dustin Fryer saying, why are we trying to drive it in 5 wide right there? That's the beautiful thing about being involved in the actual server. You get to hear all the unfiltered discussions and the talks, and sometimes it's very unfiltered.
I believe it. I believe it. However, we're keeping it PG on this broadcast, no question about that.
You know, the distinction between PG and G is very minimal, but I always appreciate PG. I don't know where I'm going with that. I just wanted to
I
make
don't
a
know
comment.
either, but I'm just going to roll with it as we continue to go here. 14 laps left to go in this feature event, as it's been all Isaac Salas pretty much the entire way. I think he's led all but one, because I believe he got beat on the outside on one of the laps. But other than that, he has been the man at the front of the field.
Well, again, racing deal is what is given by race control, Dean Reynolds. Isaac Salas, again, is going to lead the field back to green. Is he able to hold it? Salas down the inside. JC Floyd has the run around the outside, but they are neck and neck. You cannot separate them in terms of milliseconds until maybe right now some more contact. I think Floyd led that lap by just a few milliseconds. Jared's right there as well. This is going to be insane.
Floyd's not going to give Salas any room. There's no question about that, as he's going to go to the outside. Salas comes right back. A little bit of rubbing off at turn number 4 that time. And at the line, it's still going to, actually, it's going to be Salas that time, but not by much. They continue to go side by side for the lead, as we're going to come by, I believe, just about 10 laps left to go in this feature as Yellow comes back out onto the speedway.
Look who else has gotten themselves into position here. It's Adam Carlisle, who started 13th. So Carlisle, currently, as we came into today, showing us 4th in the standings, 15 points back, is putting himself in a position to enter to the top 3, as the rest of the championship competitors not having the best of nights. Billy Northcutt did start 19th, made 10 positions so far, is up to 9th. But Tyler Jackson has kind of been stonewalled after gaining a few positions in the early going from 16th, but just to 12th is all he's been able to manage. Obviously, Kyle Jarrett is putting himself way ahead of the conversation to take over the points lead. But JC Floyd, could he be a dark horse candidate if he runs the rest of the schedule with the way he's been driving? No matter who is going to win this race or finish on the podium, we'll make sure that you guys hear from them after the race. So stick around after the checkered flag falls for that. Dean Reynolds says, let's go racing. I think he's right in that. Green flag out right now. JC Floyd will lead them back to green, as they're still beating and banging right behind. Floyd gets hit from the rear. They're all fine, though, as we exit turn 2.
Jared got a little bit of momentum after a shot that took his spot from Carlisle behind him, but he holds on to that 3 spot as he's looking to try to get around Salas. They make contact now coming down the front straightaway. They're wheel to wheel as JC Floyd continue to hold on to this one, and that's going to be a hip check and a half by Jared, as Carlisle's going to get by Salas as well. That's going to bump him back.
Salas, I almost feel like you reap a little bit of what you've sowed earlier in this race. He's been really strong. It's not over for him, but he did get involved in a few instances of hip checking earlier, but he seems fine. I think the penalty enforced by the racers is fine.
Right now, it's going to be lap number 28 hitting the books this time. That is, I'm not going to try to do the math, but we are approaching 5 laps to go here for JC Floyd, as he is rolling right on the bottom of the racetrack. Time going to run out for Kyle Jarrett here, as it's going to be 7 laps to go this time, as the 18 car stays in front.
7 laps to go, now 6.5. These laps wind down very quickly. The top 4 have separated themselves by around 10 car lengths back to 5th place. So, a battle for the podium, a battle for the win. Way up high is Isaac Salas, who really wanted to get back involved in this conversation. Don't count him out of a podium spot just yet, Adam Carlisle in third, Kyle Jarrett in second, but he is quickly losing steam with 5 laps to go here. JC Floyd, your leader.
It's all Floyd out in front as we are under 5 laps to go. The flagger's already given the wave to JC Floyd as he has this one pretty much in check. As long as this stays green, Jared running out of time, and he's trying to mirror his tracks. You can see it behind him, just not been able to do it. Carlisle also peeking to try if he's got anything on the bottom. Here is time starting to run out.
Time certainly running out. 3 laps to go. Does JC Floyd have it in him to keep this lead? Remember, he was battling Salas for the lead for much of this race, but then got involved in some contact, put him back to third or fourth. All he's hoping for now with 2 laps to go is please no yellow. Please no yellow. That's all he's hoping for. Is there a curse there? I'm not sure. But Jared has gotten much closer the last time by. Is he going to still be able to have a run? White flag is out. JC Floyd still in front. Jared right behind him. Jared goes up high. He loses some momentum. All Floyd has to do is get around 3 and 4, and he wins here at the Street Stock race. That's exactly what happens. JC Floyd, winner at Peevely.
Second is going to be Kyle Jarrett coming across the line. Carlisle will finish in third. Isaac Salas fourth, and Drew Hopkins will round out the top 5. But a good win for JC Floyd. Back-to-back podiums and a great points night for Kyle Jarrett as well as he comes home with that number 2 spot.
That was some great racing. I think Kyle Jarrett has definitely given himself a little bit of separation in the championship standings, as I believe the top 3 are getting in front of the stand for a photo. Floyd, Jared, Carlisle, that is your top 3. Kyle Jarrett just escaped and apologized for leaving, but nonetheless, we're going to get them here in our Discord chat in just a few moments, Mike.
It's going to be cool to hear from these guys, and I'll tell you, JC Floyd, like I said, 2 races, 2 podiums, a third and a first. You can't get much better than that. We'll take a look at what's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Next Wednesday night in between Christmas and New Year's, we're heading to Fairbury, baby. Falls, as my good friend Ruben would say. Cedar Lake Speedway in New Richmond, Wisconsin will be the week after that on January 4th, and then it'll be Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa, January 11th. Here, that's going to be the next 3 on the docket.
I don't know which ones you'll be a part of, Mike. I unfortunately will not have my computer access, as I'll be back home for the December 28th race next weekend, or next week, I should say. My goodness, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Nonetheless, we are joined by the race winner, JC Floyd. JC, congratulations. How's it feel?
Amazing, actually. It's on my only second time running this, so it feels pretty good to finally win one.
And of course, you had a lot of battling right there with Isaac Salas. Just take us through, because it seemed like you were a little frustrated on the radio, but you were able to get back into the lead and stay there.
Yeah, I don't know. Tried to give him as much room as I could on the bottom because he had the line. Because obviously there it's on the bottom, so I figured I was giving him enough room that he could still do it. But he kept driving in my left rear. But I don't know. It's how anybody would be if they're racing for the lead. You're just somebody going to keep driving to you. You're going to say something, obviously, but it was a good race with him.
And, we were talking a bit in the booth. It's going to be very hard to do it, but from your 2 performances here, you've put in a potential resume to be a dark horse favorite if anybody else misses races. You feel like you have what it takes to keep running steadily in the top 5 to maybe compete for a championship here?
It would definitely be cool. I had one of my buddies. He couldn't do the league anymore, so he pretty much said, "Hey, have my rest of my year." So yeah, we're gonna come here every week, and I told Kyle I'd like to come in just to win, and then if he wants to win points, he can have points. So.
Well, congratulations, JC, on the win, and have a Merry Christmas as well.
Thank you so much. You too.
That's JC Floyd, started 7th in the feature and ended up winning it there. Mike Warren, we're going to have Kyle Jarrett come in and let you take this one away.
Oh, Kyle, I'll tell you what, man. A great run for you, just working your way up through the field, and at the end of the night, a big points night for you as well.
Yeah, definitely helped with T-Jack struggling there, and it just felt like that race was definitely a survival race, just kind of rolling the bottom. And seeing Drew had a good points night too, so hopefully that'll give us a decent lead and a good cushion going forward here.
Now, for you, I mean, you look at those first 3 races of the season, all on half miles. You switch to the bull ring tonight. I think you've shown it doesn't matter what type of track you're on. You're going to be a force to be reckoned with the rest of the way. How do you feel about that going into Fairbury again next week?
Fairbury is definitely going to be one of those tracks that's survival race. Just hopefully just try and keep clean, have a consistent nights, and hopefully that'll bring us forward there.
All right, Kyle, congratulations on your second place finish. Kyle Jarrett coming home with a big points night here again, coming home with that number 2 spot.
And of course, we'll have Adam Carlisle come into the booth as well. Carlisle, who was in 4th in the point standings coming into this one, well, no longer, believe my math is maybe not right, but I believe we'll be in 2nd. Adam, a nice race for you and nice bit of a recovery drive there. How you feeling after it?
I'm wore out, man. Having to start from the tail and try to get forward, but all in all, pretty good.
Now, of course, you look back at see the finishing results. I'm not sure if you did, but some of your championship competitors struggling a bit out there. It was really you and Kyle Jarrett who set the field apart, and it's looking like a top 4 championship battle is definitely in the open. You feel like you have what it takes over the next half plus of the season?
Yeah, I hope so. My thing is just to, I just try to be competitive and, try to be there when it counts and, just race smart and, hopefully points will work out.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the podium finish, and we'll see you at Fairbury.
Thanks. Before you guys cut me loose, I want to just real quick, I want to apologize to Joey Brewer. I got into him there in the heat race. He turned across my nose the previous lap and knocked my right front end just a little bit. And I went down in the corner real hot under him. Didn't quite realize he was that close. We bounced off each other and I tried to stay off of him and he turned off of me again and hit the wall. So sorry about that. It wasn't intentional. I do apologize.
We do love apologies here, and it is the Christmas season, so we always love seeing that. Joey Brewer finished 8th in one of the 2 last chance showdowns, but we appreciate you, Adam, joining in. And Mike Warren, that was a fun bit of racing at I-55, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what the rest of this season holds.
It's going to be a fun one. We go back-to-back bull rings next week as we head to Falls as a special in between Christmas and New Year's special on December 28th. Going to be a great time as we head to the land of Lincoln. And which one's your birthday? Oh, Cedar Lake's Mick's birthday, we just learned. So happy birthday to Mick, in case I don't see him. That's coming up on January 4th and January 11th. We head to Knoxville. So we go back to a half-mile racetrack. So a lot of big events coming up as we continue to move through this season and what's been really fun so far.
I'm a bit jealous I'm not able to be sitting with you guys in the our offices right now, and I'm just chilling at home. But it was a great time. You see those upcoming events again. But for now, it's been a good night of racing, and JC Floyd is your winner. Until next time, good night and good racing.
This has been a presentation of Dirt Vision, a World Racing Group property. To get information about upcoming broadcasts, visit us on social media or at dirtvision.com.
Dirt Vision is home to all the greatest shows on dirt. World of Outlaw sprints, late models, and Super Dirt Car Series. You also get Dirt Car Summer Nationals and weekly shows from America's top tracks. Dirt Vision has the best all-around live coverage with flexible options for casual and hardcore fans. No commitments, cancel anytime, apps for most devices. Get your Fast Pass now at dirtvision.com.
Rated E10 for ages 10 and up.
You wanted the best, you got them for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws. World of Outlaws Dirt Racing is available now.
The greatest shows on dirt have the best fan gear in motorsports. Show your support for World of Outlaws sprints and late models. Go to worldofoutlaws.com and make your way to the Buy Now section in the upper right corner. You'll find hats, shirts, hoodies, and other great souvenirs for all fans. Spend $50 or more to get free shipping. Shop anytime at worldofoutlaws.com.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round number 5 of the 2022 World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series powered by iRacing. We are here at I-55 Raceway at Pevely, getting ready to cross the halfway point in this Sprint Car Series season. Tim Terry, Chase Rodman here to call all the action for you. And Chase, we've seen some exciting racing. Last week was pretty unpredictable. Some big names not making the A-main. We'll see what this racetrack has in store for us tonight.
And some big names not finishing the main event last week as well at the Williams Grove Speedway, including your points leader Alex Bergeron got crashed on the final lap of that race there and lost some points to everybody behind him in the championship chase. But like you said, here at I-55 Raceway tonight, one of probably the most exciting bull rings that the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series in real life goes to. This is the very first time that this virtual series will take on this quarter-mile racetrack here tonight.
And we are halfway through this 2022 season. We will come to I-55 this week, and then we head into January, and there are 5 consecutive Mondays in the month of January that will ultimately crown our 2022 champion. Fairbury next week, and then on the way through to the finale at the dirt track at Charlotte. Point standings took a little bit of a hit last week, Chase, with Alex not having the best of weeks, but he's still got a pretty healthy lead.
Yeah, he doesn't look too bad here at the top of the standings with a 31-point lead over Tyler Schell. Kendall Tucker, he was able to miss that last lap melee last week at the Grove and get up to second. He gained some points on Bergeron. He's third in points. J.D. Brown having a solid season at fourth. And then Timothy Smith was the other driver that got caught up with Alex Bergeron last week at the Grove. He slipped from second back to fifth in points. Cardwell, Hannigan, Miller, Tilley, and Edens right now the top 10, as like you said, tonight is the halfway point of this season.
And keep in mind that top 15, we keep talking about the transfer into next season to maintain your license for this World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. It keeps getting tighter with Beerline currently on the good side of that top 15. Avila, Ducharme, and Forster just on the outside looking in. So now that we're at the halfway point, we'll start looking at that a little bit closer as we go throughout this 2022 season. We are here at I-55. Chase, what does this racetrack bring to us tonight?
Well, I made a mistake. It is a 3/8 mile racetrack here, and like I said, just super exciting. You know what you're going to get when you come to this racetrack. You know it's going to be exciting, but you don't know what's going to happen on track because it's just so unpredictable. 1997, this place was built, and like you can see there, this place is actually owned by Ken Schrader. He still does race there in a UMP modified every now and again. Home to the Ironman 55, one of the biggest races on the calendar for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series in real life, right there in Pevely, Missouri. And, guys in this practice session, Tim, turning 9-second laps. It's one of the few tracks on the World of Outlaws schedule in real life that they turn 9-second laps. We don't see those in qualifying right now, but in practice, they were in the 9.7 range, so things happen very quickly around this place.
So these 10-lap heat races and the 12-lap last chance showdowns will go by fairly quickly. 35 laps in the feature this evening. Heat races and consies do not have caution flags. We'll buzz straight through them. And talk about a guy that was on that bubble. Aiden Beerline's on the front row. Who else is joining him?
Yeah, Beerline right now on the front row of this one. The driver to Woodford, Virginia for Team ABR Setup Shop in car number 13. Outside of him is James Edens in car number 52. He's out of Santa Rosa, California for Swindell Speed Lab Esports. Row number 2 on the inside, the driver to Newton, Iowa. It's the number 7 of Johnny Anderson for M9 SimSport. And outside of him, that'll be Tanner Miller. He's out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the Scott Thomason Racing number 9. Row 3 on the inside, the number 14 car. That is J.D. Brown from Bakersfield, California for Slick SimSport. And outside of him is the number 17. That is going to be Eric Whitner from Berwick, Pennsylvania Pennsylvania from Momentum Sim Sport. And then on the 4th row, you've got the number 11 car. That'll be Kenny Hoffman. And Hoffman, another one of our drivers out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, also driving for Momentum Sim Sport. And your final driver in this one, the car number 50, that'll be Clayton Davies from Cessnock, New South Wales, Australia. He will start from the 8th position. So 8 cars in this one. The top 4 will move on to tonight's feature event. 10 laps in distance, and 10 laps is going to go by extremely quickly here. Like we saw there in qualifying, the fastest lap time was a 10.4, Tim. So theoretically, about only maybe 120 seconds or so, and this race will be over if we don't have any major incidents here.
And if you remember back to last week, we saw some drivers kind of miss the mark in their heat race and have to work their way in through a last chance showdown, and some of them missing that mark in that 12-lap last chance showdown. So 4 heat races tonight. We will take the top 4 from each of these 10-lap heat races and move them into the feature event. And then we'll go to 2 last chance showdowns, 12 laps each. Top 2 will advance to make us 20 cars for the main event. 31 cars here this evening. 20 of them will go for 35 laps in the feature event. We got 4 that aren't here this evening, Chase. I know it's a holiday season. Some of these drivers, you told me earlier at the Tulsa Shootout, Mason Hannigan, Bryce Lucius, Logan Rumsey, Adam Elby, don't see them here tonight, so hopefully they'll rejoin us back in the new year when we head to Fairbury.
Yeah, a couple of those guys for sure at the Tulsa Shootout. Logan Rumsey and Mason Hannigan. Adam Elby might be there. He does race micro sprints in real life, and not be surprised to see him at the Tulsa Shootout at all. So are missing 4 drivers. Usually we have 35, but now there are 31 of the best dirt racing sim drivers here tonight at I-55, which is still going to be a great show. We got just about 8 guys in every heat race. The last one will have 7. Then we'll move on to 2 of those last chance showdowns and then to our feature events, which has been almost every single week has been super exciting. So can't wait to see what this place provides, and a very interesting dynamic here these last couple weeks there, Tim. For the first time in probably since the very first season of this series, we had 2 tracks that were brand new to the schedule. Last week we were at the Lincoln Speedway, kind of a late addition to the schedule, and now this week at I-55 we did run here with the late model series. Evan C was the winner, but the first time here tonight with the sprint car. So 2 weeks in a row with a new track.
Absolutely, as the field begins to roll and we see Aiden Beerline on the front, and it looks like, considering the last couple of weeks where we've seen almost a green racetrack rolling into heats, it looks like they've worked this in fairly well.
Yeah, they have, and it's looking good right now for this first heat race, and it looks like it's actually pretty slick already. So these guys started towards the tail. They might have an actual good chance to make some moves here with how the track is. I did just get a text here from Logan Rumsey, Tim. He is at the Tulsa Shootout, but just dislocated his shoulder playing football. So he's not racing on the sim tonight, and he might not be racing the Tulsa Shootout.
Wow, that's big. I'm sure he's watching us getting ready to see this thing go green, and it is underway. Round number 5, first heat race, and J.D. Brown took a look underneath Miller that time through 1 and 2, but up in front it's all Aiden Beerline leading this one, with James Edens taking a look over for the lead.
Yeah, Beerline is leading this race 2 laps in. Edens is a close second. Then it's a pretty good gap back to the 3rd place car of Eric Whitner. He's side by side with Johnny Anderson. Behind him, it's the number 9 car of Tanner Miller. And you see, there goes J.D. Brown trying to go top shelf 3 wide around the outside of turn number 2. Is able to get by Clayton Davies, but has to get on the brakes there. Oh, and Davies hit the inside wall. That's going to check up Brown. And the big benefactor out of that one, Kenny Hoffman, goes from 8th to 5th right there.
Kenny Hoffman has not made a feature so far this season, currently looking to pick up at least 1 more spot. Johnny Anderson in front of him in the 7A has not made a feature yet either this season, so he's looking to make his first on round number 5. James Edens has that thing wound for sound, looking to pick up the position on Aiden Beerline. That is your battle for the lead at the halfway point.
You love to see 2 groups of racing here in this first heat race. Beerline on the inside right by the wall, and then James Edens kind of working the middle part of the racetrack and catching up to him a little bit. The last time by, they ran about the same exact lap time. Edens gets a good run down the straightaway. This time by might be at the right rear tire, not quite yet. 2 laps to go, actually 3 to go, and you can already see just how fast these races go by here at I-55, Tim.
They're going to come by this time to 2 laps to go. It looks like Whitner is closing in on these top 2, but may run out of time here as Beerline continues to lead this thing. They'll come by this time. Chase, see that white flag.
1 to go. James Edens in the back pocket of Beerline down the front straightaway. White flag is out. Here comes Edens to the very top side of the racetrack. Gets a run down the back straightaway side by side. Entering turn 3, and James Edens is going to steal it on the last corner. What a race here in heat race number 1, Tim.
Wow, what a move by Edens to pick that one up and take away the victory and the provisional pole position for this evening at I-55 Raceway. Your results from race number 1, it's Beerline, Whitner, and Anderson. Kenny Hoffman was rolling the outside at the end of this heat race, could not make it to 4th place to Johnny Anderson, so Anderson is going to crack his first main event of the season. Brown, Miller, and Davies going to have to work through a last chance showdown to make it in to round number 5 at Peevely. Heat race number 2 set to come up on the grid. Who's in this one?
Great qualifying up for the driver out of Chico, California. And driving car number 24, it's Tanner Pettit from Momentum Sim Sport. And outside of him, it's the car number 60 of Sean English from Brandon, Florida. Row number 2 on the inside, that'll be car number 20. That is Aiden Forster out there. Forster, one of our rookies here in 2022, looking to have a good run here tonight. Also to the outside of him is the car number 16 of Blake Giglio. He's out of Williamson, New York for M9 Sim Sport. Row number 3 on the inside, that's going to be Braden Eiler from Franklin, Pennsylvania for Elbows F Sim Sport. Outside of him is the 18 car of Austin Sellerman. He's from Brookfield, Wisconsin for Tony Stewart Racing. Row number 4, the final one for this race here, the 21 car of John Helms for CFM Esports. He's out of Olivehurst, California. And final starter in this one, the guy that's 3rd place in the point standings coming into the night, it's Kendall Tucker from Mount Airy, North Carolina for Swindell Speed Lab Esports. And Tucker, not a good qualifying effort here tonight. He is going to have to pass at least 4 cars if he does not want to run a last chance showdown. But like we saw in that last heat there, Tim, the track is wide. It's got multiple grooves. Tucker's got a good shot here to make some moves.
Absolutely, he does 0.3 off the mark of Tanner Pettit for the qualifying in this heat race, so Tucker will have to be up on the wheel. If you want to get your iRacing career started, 50% off new memberships. It's a perfect opportunity to until January 8th with the iRacing holiday sale. Visit iRacing.com/holiday-sale to see your deal today. Only until January 8th, so be sure to go over and get that. And for all the information you need on iRacing, cars, tracks, the latest news, it's iRacing.com. And for more information on this series, the schedule, standings, and everything involved, the spotter guide, the driver listing is pretty neat over there. Keeps us on our toes and keeps us puts a face to a name as well. iRacing.com/WOOSC for the World of Outlaws sprint cars as the field rolls off to get ready for heat race number 2. And yes, a great qualifying effort for Pettit. And on the outside, don't discount Sean English either. English had a kind of a rough start to his rookie season, Chase, and made a feature, I believe, on race number 2, and has been trying to get back into the feature events. Good qualifying effort to start this one off.
Yeah, good. Like you said, good qualifying effort for Sean English. He did make one feature event. That was during week number 2, a 17th place finish for English. That was back at Eldora Speedway. Now, one car not making the grid here for this one. It looks like John Helms in car number 21 does not make the call for this one. So 7 cars will take the green here in heat race number 2 for the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series here at I-55 Raceway. Pace truck into the infield, and the field is in the hands of Tanner Pettit and Sean English. Green flag down the front straightaway. English does not get going on the start, and we got a change for the lead already. Forster slides in front of Pettit.
Forster going to take the advantage. Pettit going to be wheel to wheel with the 60 of English, and English has company to the inside in the 5 of Braden Eiler as Eiler tries to get that thing towards the front of the field. He didn't have a great week last week at the Grove, and will try to move up a couple of more spots in this one. Keep your eye on Kendall Tucker trying to get his way through here.
Yeah, Tucker got together with Sean English. English is way back in this one, and Tucker, that kind of stunted his momentum here towards the front of the field. He's back in the 6th position, still plenty of time to get up there and make a move, but top of the racetrack seems to be the place that you want to be at right now, midway through this heat race. But Tucker makes the move on the inside, going to try and go by 2 cars in turns 3 and 4. He does so. The double slider, it's hit from behind into the infield wall. Blake Giglio got into the back of Tucker and put him into the infield wall.
Have to get while the getting's good, and the getting was just maybe a little too good there for Kendall Tucker, and he's going to fall back to the end of this running order. The good news for your top 4, it now opens up a little bit of a gap. Oh, by the way, Austin Sellerman looking to make his first main event of the season, and sitting there in position number 4. A little bit off this battle here that we have with Pettit in the 24, and there's the 18 of Sellerman trying to get up there. He's got about a second to catch those guys in front of him. A little contact there as Eiler trying to pick up the spot.
Yeah, good move right there by Eiler. Clears Pettit. Pettit crosses back to the inside. It's been a good season, an up and down season, I would say, for Braden Eiler. Had that second place run a few weeks ago at the Williams Grove Speedway, a fifth place run at Eldora. Didn't make the show at Volusia, and then a 20th place run last week at Lincoln as he continues the battle here with Tanner Pettit. Meanwhile, up front, Forster enjoying a 1 second advantage over this battle that is raging on here for P2. The white flag is out. Eiler looks to have the spot in hand.
And it's going to be Forster, Aiden Forster, coming out of corner number 4 and collecting the checkered flag just like that. Heat race number 2 comes to a close. And yeah, Pettit, last lap is going to fall out of this one. That is tough for Tanner Pettit, who was in a transfer position. Eiler going to move up, Semmelman going to move up, and Blake Giglio, who was at the front, at the back and forth. Starts 4th, finishes 4th on paper. Looks pretty good, but an eventful heat race for him. English, Tucker, Pettit complete your field of starters, and Helms did not answer the call to the green. We're going to step away for just a few moments. We'll bring you back with the next 2 heat races coming up after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
World of Outlaws Dirt Racing is available now.
The World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series is brought to you by CarQuest Auto Parts and by World of Outlaws Dirt Racing. Drive like an outlaw. Available now on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5.
Welcome back to I-55 Raceway, round number 5 of the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. Got 2 heat races in the book so far. Heat race number 3 coming at us. And Chase, who is in this one?
Well, Timothy Smith's going to be on the pole of heat race number 3, the driver out of Fulton, Missouri for M9 Sim Sport in car number 86. And outside of him, it's the 23 car, last week's feature winner at the Lincoln Speedway. It's Kenny Miller, the driver out of Morgantown, Pennsylvania for M9 Sim Sport. Row number 2 on the inside, the 48 car, Dylan Yeager from Hamilton Township, New Jersey for CFM Esports. And outside of him, it'll be car number 49, Ryan Avila from Lemoore, California for Momentum Sim Sport. Row 3 on the inside, it's the former World of Outlaws Late Model Series champion from Jamestown, New York. The driver is Blake Majulis for CFM Esports. Outside of him, you'll have the number 4 car. That'll be Ross Kaiser. He's from San Jose, California for Momentum Sim Sport. Row number 4, it's going to be the 174 car of Loic Bernier from Victoriaville, Quebec, Canada for Slick Sim Sport. And final starter for this one, in car number 25 from Beaubassin, Vermont, it's going to be Tyler Ducharme. Ducharme for Slick Sim Sport. 8 cars once again going for 10 laps. And so far, the heat races have been pretty darn good. We've seen 2 groups of racing, which is all you can ask for here. And things are just getting heated up here, Tim.
Absolutely there. We're talking about the halfway point in this season being crossed after this evening. So those championship points, very key. and they also come with championship money if you're in the top 10. $10,000 to win the championship this season, all the way back to $200 for 10th per race, $300, $200, and $100 for the top 3 in the feature event coming up a little bit later on this evening. Timothy Smith has had a very memorable season, I think, so far. I think back to round number 1, him ripping the outside line, leading a ton of laps in our opening round at Volusia, and then just kind of hanging around and being there and being a contender for most of these races, and getting the W's and everything else, and putting himself in a position, really, Chase, to contend for this championship this season.
Yeah, Timothy Smith, like you said, led laps at Volusia. The opening race ended up finishing 5th that night, was 14th the next week at Eldora Speedway, and then had a 3rd-place run at Williams Grove and was in the top 3 last week at Lincoln. And then we talked about earlier, got together with Alex Bergeron on the last lap. He ended up finishing 13th there. So that car has shown a ton of speed, and I feel like a win is right on the horizon for the young driver out of Fulton, Missouri. So the 86 car, a great qualifying effort once again, and would not be surprised to see him at all park it here tonight at I-55. But Kenny Miller, man, he was very good last week, was pretty much uncontested the entire way once he finally got past Bergeron for the lead. And Kenny Miller, he's kind of a guy I've been talking about all year long to be a breakout, one of our rookies this year. And sure enough, he got the win last week, and he's got momentum on his side here to maybe do it again tonight at I-55 Raceway. Green flag is out in heat race number 3. We're rolling into turn number 1.
Stout little inside row there with Timothy Smith, Dylan Yeager, and Blake Majulis as the battle up in front continues to be the 86. Takes the advantage behind them. Almost a moment with Kenny Miller on that outside, and Ryan Avila going at it, trying to jockey for position. Battle is for second. Dylan Yeager to the inside.
And Yeager's trying to take the lead away. The bottom off 4 is really good. He's going to take the lead away down the front straightaway. What a racetrack here in heat race number 3. Yeager way down by the wall, well, the inside wall, and Smith way by the outside wall. But look how good the bottom is off of 4. Timmy takes the lead right back across the start-finish line.
And you saw Majulis just trying to stick the bumper bar down there and try to get a little bit lower than Dylan Yeager was. Yeager continues to fight to the inside. He's got the advantage this time, as Smith going to try to get back to that outside. Dylan Yeager has the lead as we close in this next time by on the halfway point.
And Kenny Miller's got the anchor out right now. The 23 car start on the outside of the front row, falls to 5th right in front of him. Ryan Avila smokes the wall off of turn number 4. Miller trying to get back to him to get that transfer spot away. Smith takes the lead back away from Yeager, and now Smith tries to work the middle of the racetrack across the line, too close to goal, but Timothy Smith, it was a dead tie, .000 across the line for the lead.
It seems like Yeager's just a little bit better off of corner number 4 than Smith is on that outside. Right there, another case of it. He just gets a little more bite off that inside in turn 4. Timothy Smith has it figured out on the outside through 1 and 2, but through 3 and 4, Yeager gets there, not close enough to take back the advantage as they come to 2 to go.
2 laps to go, and Smith finds a line through the middle of the racetrack, but here comes, looks like Miller back on the horse here, getting by Blake Majulis, gets by him for 4th. Majulis crosses back underneath him and takes it away. The white flag is out, and Timothy Smith has put the afterburners here on the last 2 laps, and he is going to take the win by a healthy margin. Second's going to go to Yeager. 3rd at the line will go to Ryan Avila, barely over Kenny Miller.
And Kenny Miller had 3rd going into turn number 3, and Avila able to take the middle and kind of get away with that position. Miller holds on to 4th, and Blake Majulis, the odd man out in that 5-car battle, up in front for the lead. So Majulis, Kaiser, Ducharme, and Bernier will end up on the wrong side of the transfer, and we'll go to a last chance showdown. 3 heat races, 3 quick heat races so far, Chase. Heat race number 4 set to come at us.
We got a stacked one here on the pole. The driver is the 2-time series champion from Drummondville, Quebec, Canada, number 12 car, Alex Bergeron for Team ABR setup shop. Outside of him, in car number 51, that'll be Clayton Tilley. From Bibra Lake, Western Australia, from Winton Simsport. Row number 2 on the inside. The winner here with the World of Outlaws Late Model Series, it's Evan C. for Chesney, South Carolina. He drives for CFM Esports. Outside of him, a 2-time winner so far this season from Sevierville, Tennessee. It's the 07 of Hayden Cardwell. Row 3 on the inside, the 85. That'll be Tyler Schell. He's out of Millersburg, Pennsylvania for Elbows F Simsport. Outside of him, it's the number 39 car of Andrew Heffler, one of the rookies here in 2022. And outside of him, final row is the 42 of Paul Bryan. He is another one of our Australia-based drivers for Man Up Sim Racing in the 42.
And we saw Paul a couple of weeks ago really get up on the wheel and get some work done. So we'll see what he can do from position number 7 at the rear of this running order this evening as the cars make their way onto the grid and we get ready for heat race number 4. They send the final 4 into tonight's main event, and everybody else will have to go to that last chance showdown, one of 2, to put themselves into this main event. But Bergeron, C, Cardwell, Heffler's been good. Tyler Schell, obviously, near the top of the board when it comes to the championship. Clayton Tilley's had some good runs. Talk about stack. This one here, absolutely. I don't think you can pick 4 to move forward.
Tyler Schell is second in points right now, only 31 behind Alex Bergeron coming into tonight, and so he definitely needs to have a good run in this heat race. Starts outside of a transfer spot, though, and he's got some tough customers up ahead of him. Obviously, Cardwell, 2-time winner this year. Evan C, a winner here with the late models at I-55. Bergeron, 2-time series champion. And then you got Clayton Tilley. He's had a decent season as well, up there in 9th in the point standings with 2 top 5 finishes, including, I want to say, 3rd last week at Lincoln, his first career podium with this World of Outlaws CARQUEST Auto Parts Sprint Car Series.
And I did see that Lenny Baticki had Hayden Cardwell on PRN at the track this week as well. So I know Hayden's been working to get up here and get another couple of wins under his belt. He'll roll from position number 4 and still a little ways to get up here. But currently in a transfer position. But as we saw in that last heat race, anything can happen, especially coming down to the checkered flag. And with this heat race, got to be up on the wheel in order to take it away. Bergeron, great starting position in this one. Had one heat race earlier this year where he kind of fell back. As you can see, that track being worked in a little bit more than what we had at the very start. I'm interested to see what they're going to do before the feature tonight.
Yeah, I would think they're going to have to rework it here, or else it's going to just be super, super slick. I mean, the bottom already is getting pretty narrow. We've seen guys been able to run it, but the more laps that go on it, the tougher it's going to be. So I believe we'll see a little bit of track work before the feature tonight as the green flag waves. Bergeron jumps out to the lead. Evan C working on Clayton Tilley. And how about Cardwell? We've seen that a time or two. Already straight to the outside wall off of turn number 4, trying to get by for that 3rd spot. Now he's going to lose one to Tyler Schell. Contact between Cardwell and Tilley. They both hang on to it.
Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. Cardwell will head up to that outside line and continue to try to pick up some spots in front of him. Almost a moment between C and Bergeron as they battle for the lead. Schell currently occupies position number 3, and then Cardwell trying to take it away from surprise, surprise. Here comes Paul Bryan.
Yeah, Paul Bryan making some moves here. Oh, Cardwell just bounced off the wall big time off of turn number 4, able to keep the car on all 4 wheels. But you talked about it. Evan C and Bergeron definitely got together a little bit a few laps ago. Bergeron since then has been able to pull away by 3 car lengths. A change for second. Tyler Schell gets by Evan C, and he's up into the 2nd spot.
And we saw Cardwell to that outside line be papered to that wall as you ride on board with Hayden Cardwell trying to now pick up position number 3. And look at the battle in front of him. Bergeron moves to the outside. Tyler Schell moves to the inside as Cardwell gets by C. C still trying to work that inside and trying to get what is left out of this heat race. But so far, so good. Sitting right behind in position number 4.
Fastest car on the track the last time by was Hayden Cardwell. He's got the top side wired. Is closed up to the rear bumper of Tyler Schell. And Schell is closed up to Bergeron off of turn number 2. Here comes Cardwell to the back bumper of Schell. This one not over yet as Bergeron gives a little love tap to the wall. Schell gets alongside him off of turn number 4. 2 to go. And the race for the lead is 3 cars strong down the back straightaway.
Hayden Cardwell has this thing figured out in 1 and 2, still trying to get that momentum off at 3 and 4. Look at that run he gets there as they come to the white flag. Final lap, Bergeron to the outside, Tyler Schell trying to steal this one from the inside. Almost a little contact, little slide job. Cardwell through the middle, and he's not going to get there. Alex Bergeron picks up the heat race victory. Schell going to come back to second. Man, what a move by Cardwell.
That was absolutely threading the needle right there. I thought he was going to get into the back of Bergeron and turn him around, but stayed off of him and made it exciting, that's for sure.
Your results for heat race number 4. We saw the top 3 continuing to go at it for those positions. Bergeron, Schell, and Cardwell. How about Heffler out of nowhere? Paul Bryan picks up 5th. C is behind the 8 ball again after a heat race. Finishes in 6th. And Clayton Tilley in 7th. Heat races completed. Last chance showdowns coming up after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Modified DLC pack also features the Federated Auto Parts Raceway and I-55 and will be available for digital purchase on the PlayStation and Xbox stores this month.
The World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series is brought to you by CarQuest Auto Parts and by World of Outlaws Dirt Racing. Drive like an outlaw. Available now on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5.
Welcome back to I-55 Raceway. The 4 heat races have been completed here this evening. We are looking for our final 4 starters in round number 5 of the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series powered by iRacing. We take 2 from each of the last chance showdowns, 12 laps each. First one upcoming. Chase, who's in this one?
Well, let's take a look at the lineup for LCS. Number 1 on the pole, going to be number 11 car of Kenny Hoffman, and outside of him is the 127 of Blake Majulis. Row number 2 on the inside, the 14 car, that'll be J.D. Brown, and outside of him is the number 4 of Ross Kaiser. Row 3, the number 9 car of Tanner Miller, and outside of him is the 25 of Tyler Ducharme, with Clayton Davies in car number 50 rounding out the field. So 7 cars, 12 laps, and the top 2 will move to the back of tonight's A main event starting field. And Majulis, Brown, Ducharme, Davies, kind of the 4 guys I'm watching for here in this one. And especially after Majulis kind of got his pocket picked there in that heat race, was in a transfer the whole way, and then about a lap or so to go, he lost it, and now finds himself having to fight for one of these transfer spots.
And he's going to have to get up on the wheel 12 laps. We've seen the 10 laps go by quickly in those heat races. 2 last chance showdowns at 12 each to set up the feature for 35 laps here this evening. And Hoffman going to be good. Blake Majulis obviously was ripping it up through the heat race, just couldn't get there at the end as the field rolls off. J.D. Brown going to be good. Tanner Miller's been sharp this year. Ducharme has been quick. There's a lot of stories here. There's 7 cars. There's 7 different stories going into this one. We'll see who punches their ticket and who ends up going to the house early and celebrating the new year before we head to Fairbury.
Yeah, we talked about earlier on at the top of the broadcast, these guys in practice turning lap times of 9 seconds, sometimes 9.7s. And, in the heat races, Tim, with how the track is shaped in, for those that, don't really know much about dirt racing maybe, or first time watching a dirt race here with iRacing, they are now in the 11.5-second lap time bracket. So almost 2 seconds of fall off here on this racetrack with, from practice through the heat races. And it's only going to get slower until they rework it before the feature. So these guys, a lot of throttle control, maybe some brake to hit the bottom, and it's a lot of skill to get around this place as we go green. Hoffman to the early lead, and the race is already on for second, side by side between Brown and Majulis.
J.D. Brown working the inside, going to pick up position number 2, and Majulis stuck 3-1 on the outside, little contact. Somehow they all save it, but that was a close call there. 4 wide does not work around this place, and they just found it as J.D. Brown goes to the lead on the 11 of Miller.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hoffman.
I don't know how those guys all kept going. They're all in contention still, and now Ross Kaiser goes around, collects another driver. I believe that is Clayton Davies. So now a 5-car breakaway up front as they are still side by side for the top spot. Brown's going to have it clear down the back straightaway, and here comes Ducharme. Nearly got into the back of Hoffman right there entering turn 3.
Ducharme from 6th, battling for position number 2 in this one, trying to take that final transfer spot away. Kenny Hoffman, keep in mind, has not made a feature this year, and he gets right reared from the 25, and he may miss out on one more as he battles with Tanner Miller for 3rd.
Yeah, teammates up there at 1-2 for Slick Sim Sport. J.D. Brown and Tyler Ducharme is now the 9, and Tanner Miller comes to call, trying to get by the number 11 of Kenny Hoffman. Meanwhile, Blake Majulis, I think there might be some damage to that car, Tim, after that first lap incident when they were 3 wide, and he is just not catching up to these 4 guys, and his lap times are showing. He's about a 10th off the pace of your race leader, J.D. Brown.
And he's got to get up on the wheel because he's quickly running out of time, and he needs a few positions in these next couple laps. Here comes Ducharme to the inside of Brown. Battle for the lead up in front in this last chance showdown, and they don't want to get too busy up here because Hoffman and Miller aren't too far back here.
Yeah, if there's any kind of contact between these two, then Hoffman and Miller will be there to pounce. But I don't think anything crazy is going to happen between these two guys. The 14 and the 25 been teammates here in the Pro Series for a long time. They're good friends, and they're just going to try and put this one in the books. 2 laps to go that time by for the 14 car of J.D. Brown.
J.D. Brown trying to hold on Ducharme in 2nd, and they've got almost a second back to Hoffman, who's in the wall battling with Miller. They'll come to the white flag this time. Final lap in last chance showdown number 1, and J.D. Brown to the outside, trying to punch his ticket into a 5th consecutive feature this season in the World of Outlaws CARQUEST Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. He'll do so. He wins last chance showdown number 1. Tyler Ducharme in 2nd. They battled like it was for a transfer position for 3rd on back. Tanner Miller takes the spot over Kenny Hoffman for what it's worth back there. Blake Majulis, Clayton Davies, and Ross Kaiser complete your field. We've got one more last chance showdown to set the field for round number 5. Who's in this final last chance showdown?
The prelim before the final prelim before the 35-lap finale here. Sean English going to be on the pole, and outside of him is the 42 car of O'Brien. Row 2 on the inside of the 00 car, that'll be Kendall Tucker, and outside of him is the 33 of Evan C. Row 3, the 24 car Tanner Pettit, and outside of him is the 51 car of Clayton Tilley. Row 4, the 21 John Helms, and the 174 of Loic Bernier will round out the field for last chance showdown at number 2. Well, we saw J.D. Brown there in that last one, Tim. He's up there in the point standings, 4th in points coming into tonight. Had to come through the last chance showdown. The same thing now for the 3rd place driver in points, Kendall Tucker. He's got to make a couple moves here if he wants to be in the show and try and keep pace with Bergeron and Shell at the top.
Absolutely. Paul Bryan came through the back of his heat race to get up to at least a good starting position in this last chance showdown. But if you want to get your iRacing career started, 50% off new memberships until January 8th. It's the iRacing holiday sale. Visit iRacing.com/holiday-sale to see your deal today. 50% off new memberships. So if you're not a member of iRacing yet, what are you waiting for? Head to iRacing.com to get your career started today. Learn about the cars, the tracks, and everything that's been going on here on iRacing, and get behind the wheel and do some racing, whether it's on dirt, whether it's on asphalt, whether it's a road course, whether it's a rallycross, whatever it may be. Get on here and have some fun with us on iRacing. As Sean English and Paul Bryan on the racetrack, lined up, ready to go. I believe we might be waiting on one more before we start rolling these drivers for their 12-lap last chance showdown.
You have the final opportunity to put yourself into the field, and if you're able to do so, you're going to start way back in 19th and 20th position here for the 35-lapper tonight at I-55 Raceway. The very first time that the series has ran a race here at this 3/8-mile racetrack. It's going to be very exciting. We hope you stick around and check out what this series has to offer. So far this season, it has been nothing short of spectacular. We've had a couple of different winners. We had Bergeron get the win at Volusia. we had a back-to-back winner for Hayden Cardwell at Eldora and Williams Grove, and then last week a first-time series winner with Kenny Miller at the brand-new Lincoln Speedway. So tonight we got a couple guys starting towards the front that could, keep a different winner going here. James Eden starts up there, Aiden Forrester, Timothy Smith, just to name a few. So you definitely want to stick around, and maybe you'll be talking, or maybe we'll be talking to a first-time series winner here tonight. I always love seeing that, Tim.
And I think when you look at this last chance showdown, you got some big names in here too. Obviously, Sean English, the rookie. Paul Bryan's been up on the wheel this year. Kendall Tucker, Evan C., and then Tanner Pettit, who started on the front row of his heat race earlier in position number 5. So there are some names here in this one that may feel like this racetrack already owes them one this evening. Green flag flies for the final last chance showdown. Kendall Tucker quickly to second on the inside. They are battling for third, 3 and almost 4 wide.
Yep, here we go. 3 wide for second as they go into turns 3 and 4. Kendall Tucker's got that final transfer spot across the line, but here comes Tanner Pettit to the inside. On the outside, it's Clayton Tilley. Tilley's going to have that spot clear down the back straightaway as Tucker looks to catch up to the number 60 of Sean English. Tucker hits the wall. He gets hit from behind by Tilley, checks him up, and he loses third to Tanner Pettit.
Yeah, Tilley was on a mission on that opening lap, and now he's going to play a little bit of offense again up the hill and into the wall after a little bit of contact with Pettit in front of him. And now Pettit goes to work on a Tucker. It's all behind the rookie Sean English as the field races for what is now position number 2. Tucker going to try to get that outside line working, though, and take it away from the 60.
Yeah, he looks good. Tucker might be able to have the top spot here right off of turn number 2, but English has a good drive off the bottom side. By side, give the advantage to Tucker entering turn number 3, going to cross the start-finish line this time by Kendall Tucker. Takes the lead at the halfway mark.
And now for Sean English. Can he hold on? And there's contact in behind. The answer to that is going to be no, as English goes around. Heartbreak after leading the opening 5 laps of this one.
And Evan C. now back in the 3rd spot as Tanner Pettit moves up to P2. Loic Bernier from dead last up to 4th. We got English off the pace up ahead of your leaders here. We'll see if he, gets out of the way here for these guys. But English could play a factor here in this one as we do have some traffic here. Maybe some redemption here. Maybe a little payback. English did get hit from behind.
Keep your eye on the 60 of English as he battles side by side with Pettit, not for a position. He is 1 lap down, and Evan C. right in there as well. So C trying to get by on the outside.
I'm not sure if it was C that got in English or not, but that's what it looks like here as C looks to the inside of English. Is going to go by him down the back straightaway, puts the number 60 car to the wayside here. White flag next time by 2 to go for Kendall Tucker. He's made this one look easy. Tanner Pettit's doing a good job. Oh, and Evan C. gets put in the wall, and I believe Sean English, that's who he was after right there.
And if that's who it was, mission accomplished, and Evan C. is on his side, and that will do it for him this evening. We are still racing, no cautions in the last chance showdowns. White flag is out. Tucker is going to come across the line first. He's chased down by Tanner Pettit, Clayton Tilley, Loic Bernier, and Paul Bryan, your top 5, with English and C at the back of the field. That was fairly interesting. A little bit of exciting action to close off our qualifying rounds as you see the results on your screen with Tucker and Pettit making their way into the feature. We'll do some track prep, do some rework of the racetrack, and bring you back to 35 laps after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series is brought to you by CarQuest Auto Parts. And by World of Outlaws Dirt Racing. Drive like an outlaw. Available now on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5.
I know we appreciate you taking a break from your Christmas World of Outlaws Dirt Racing playing to come join us tonight on round number 5 of the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. You can go back to playing as soon as we're done. If you do not have your copy yet, what are you waiting for? You can learn more at worldofoutlaws.game.com, available on several consoles with Xbox and PlayStation. And get out there, enjoy the online mode, the career mode, multiple race cars, multiple racetracks, over 40 racetracks on it. If you haven't got your hands on it already, I don't know what you're waiting for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just so much content on that on the game, and I think they're going to be adding more and more, which is the best part. Some DLC to keep you interested for a long time to come. So it's a phenomenal game, and we can't wait to see what everybody thinks about it here as we are ready for action tonight at the I-55 Raceway. And for round number 5 of the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup for this one. On the pole, it's going to be car number 52. That's James Edens out of Santa Rosa, California, and outside of him, you have the number 20. That's going to be one of the rookies this season. That's Aiden Forster from Cass City, Michigan. Row 2 on the inside, the 86. That's Timothy Smith from Fulton, Missouri. And outside of him, the 2-time series champion, it's Alex Bergeron from Drummondville, Quebec, Canada. Row 3 on the inside, the 13 car of Aiden Beerline from Woodford, Virginia. And outside of him, it's going to be the number 5 machine. That is Braden Eiler. He's from Franklin, Pennsylvania. Row 4, the 48. That's Dylan Yeager from Hamilton Township, New Jersey. And outside of him, the number 85, a Tyler Schell. He's another one of our drivers out of the state of PA from Millersburg, Pennsylvania for the 85 car. Row number 5, the number 17 from Berwick, Pennsylvania. That's Eric Whitner. And outside of him, it's the driver from Brookfield, Wisconsin. How about it for Austin Selman? Row 6 on the inside, the number 49 car, Ryan Avila from Lemoore, California. And outside of him, the 07, 2-time winner this year, it's Hayden Cardwell from Sevierville, Tennessee. Row number 7 on the inside, that's where you're going to find the driver making his first start of the season. It's Johnny Anderson from Newton, Iowa. And outside of him, it's the number 16 car, Blake Giglio from Williamson, New York. Row number 8, you got the number 23, last week's feature winner at Lincoln Speedway from Morgantown, Pennsylvania. It's Kenny Miller III in the 23. And outside of him, the 39 car, that'll be Andrew Heffler from Watertown, Wisconsin. Behind them, from the Last Chance Showdowns, the number 14 of J.D. Brown from Bakersfield, California. The 00 car of Kendall Tucker from Mount Airy, North Carolina. And your final 2 starters for this one, the 25 of Tyler Ducharme from Beaumessine, Vermont, and the 24 of Tanner Pettit from Chico, California. And now, going down that starting lineup there, Tim, it just reminds me how many different states, how many countries are represented in this series, and that's one of the very cool things about iRacing and these pro series. You got guys from almost, it sounds like every state when I was just going down that starting lineup. You got guys from Canada, from Australia, and you love to see that type of thing. That the diversity that we've got in this field is pretty incredible.
Absolutely it is, and for more information on this series, you can find out where your favorite driver is from, put a face to a name, your standings, your schedule, everything you need about the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series powered by iRacing can be found at iRacing.com/WOOSC for World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. That's iRacing.com/WOOSC. Waiting for the final couple of drivers to join us on the grid, and then we will be racing, but I do like what we saw there, and especially after the heat races, it feels like there's a different story here tonight where you look at a guy like Tanner Pettit, who started on the front row of his heat race, qualified pole in his heat, had to come through a last chance showdown, starts dead last in this feature event. You look up at the front, we talk about the rookies, Forster, Aiden Beerline, a great qualifying effort as well. Like there's all kinds of stories. Hayden Cardwell in the middle of the pack, Tyler Schell in the middle of the pack, Alex Bergeron has a great starting position up here. There's a lot of stories here that I think there's going to be a couple of people that may be a little bit upset after the first couple laps, and there is the work in that we did have a little bit. It looks like there's one little slick groove to the inside, and then it looks like this racetrack almost similar to what we had at the very start.
Yeah, they did a complete rework there before the feature, and they gave these drivers about 3 laps to go out, or 3 minutes, I should say, to go out there and kind of buzz it in here. And so it's going to get worked in quickly, especially with 20 guys out there. And it's going to be similar to what we saw in the heat races early on, Tim, when it was one guy on the bottom right next to the inside wall, one guy on the top. And, once that guy on the bottom starts throwing that dirt up into the middle, we might see a middle groove also come into play as well. So there is a lot to look forward to. The very first race for the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series here at the I-55 Raceway is set to go green. James Edens and Aiden Forster down the front straightaway. We are underway for 35 laps.
And these laps are going to go by fairly quickly, but if it's anything like those heat races, we may see a couple of incidents that spark cautions early in this one. Keep your eye on that battle for second. Timothy Smith to the inside of Forster as they battle it out for the runner-up position behind James Edens. Bergeron hops to the outside.
James Edens looking for his first win of the campaign as a new second-place driver. Give it to Timothy Smith. He slides in front of Aiden Forster. Smith, we talked about him earlier on this afternoon, how fast he's been so far this season, but no wins to show for it. Now looking to take the lead away from James Edens. That time by Edens had the lead by 1/100th of a second. Timothy Smith pressuring him early. Behind them, it's Forster third, Bergeron fourth, and Bierlein in fifth.
How many times have we said this season? Timothy Smith on the outside and looking for the lead. This time it's on James Edens in the 52 as Edens will come by and lead one more lap and get the wall on the front straightaway. Does not miss a beat, though, but it does close in Forster.
And James Edens looked like John Force down the front straight right there. His rear tires were all over the place and hit the wall. And now Edens goes back to the middle. Timothy Smith, the local boy here at I-55 Raceway from Fulton, Missouri, not too far away from Peevely, looking to the inside of Edens, trying to take the lead away, but can't do it yet. Already 8 laps complete in this one. The race is ticking by in a hurry, and the top 2 have pulled away by about a second over the third-place car of Forster.
And now Timothy Smith is on that outside, banging the boards, trying to pick up the lead back to the inside. Slide job, and James Edens trying to get back, but can't do it there. New leader, Timothy Smith, as James Edens tries to take it away and will not do so down the front that time.
Timothy Smith has got to have the most laps led so far this season with the exception of Hayden Cardwell, but Smith does not have any wins to show for, and he is pulling away quickly from James Edens. Bergeron behind them slides by Forster, but now he's going to lose 2 spots. Forster goes back by, and Bray Nyler also goes by as well. So Bergeron threw a slider on Forster. He took the spot away, then lost 2. He slips back to 5th.
And you saw that gaggle of cars just off that last shot behind. If something happens again and there's another misstep, Bergeron is set to lose another 5 or 10 positions as they are all right in behind them and jockeying hard for position. But this is the battle for about 3rd, 4th, and 5th as Bergeron tries to move up the road and get back what he lost as Forster side by side, almost a little contact with Eiler.
Yeah, there definitely was off of turn number 4. Eiler looking for his 3rd top 5 of the year, but the yellow is out. We got a caution. It looks like one car involved is Tanner Pettit, the number 24 car, and I believe J.D. Brown, another driver involved. Man, this is it looks to be a 3-car incident. We'll try and pull up a replay, but it starts there, Tim. The number 7 of Johnny Anderson, the driver making his first start of the season, gets into it with, I believe, Tyler Ducharme. We'll get a closer look at it here in just a moment, but Johnny Anderson causes this one.
It almost looks like here he loses the nose a little bit, and the thing just kind of comes up the racetrack, and it's kind of hard from that angle, but it just almost looked like he lost the handle of the race car on the inside with Johnny in that 7A, but tough break, make your first feature of the season, then you don't want to be that guy to bring out the first caution of the race, but looks like that's going to be the case for Anderson as he'll fall to the back of the field.
Yeah, J.D. Brown does get collected. He was having a great season so far. He's going to slip all the way back to about the 17th position. He came in tonight 4th in the point standings for the driver out of Bakersfield, California. Definitely having the best run of his Pro Series career. We've seen him in the late models. We've seen him in these wing sprint cars as well. So a veteran of this competition, but definitely having the best season to date for him. And that's going to be a little bit of an issue for him as we head back to the green flag, this time by Timothy Smith, James Edens, and your 3rd place cars, Aiden Forster. We've got 15 complete and 20 laps to go.
James Edens looked for the lead on Smith when they went green, and Smith kind of cut the nose off, coming down to take that green flag in behind. This is a mess. It's Dylan Yeager to the inside, just like he did in the heat race. He is pinned to that inside wall, trying to get everything that he can. Yellow is out.
Yeah, yellow. It looks like this time Hayden Cardwell is one of the drivers involved in this one. And yeah, Cardwell, I think it was just a single car incident this time. But like you said, Yeager, well, he was doing that in the heat race, just absolutely marching on the bottom and making it work. But we'll see what happened here to Cardwell.
The 07 of Cardwell up by the boards again and into the inside of Avila, and going to go for a little bit of a spin, half spin. Everybody else avoids. No harm, no foul, besides a little bit of contact at the start to bring out that yellow flag. And the one thing that I'm seeing too, we talked about Dylan Yeager going to the inside and keeping that thing absolutely pinned to the bottom. The slick spot or the slick groove is a lot bigger than I think we've seen all night long, but there's still that inside line to kind of play with down there that Yeager was playing with during his heat.
The bottom off of turn number 4 is just so good, and that's where Yeager's been able to make his time. If he can just stay close to him on the bottom of 1 and 2, he's going to make the pass off of turn number 4 as long as that groove stays in. We've got, still quite a few laps to go, 19 laps remaining, but Yeager making his way towards the front. Another driver making his way towards the front is Kendall Tucker. He's up to 13th after starting 18th from that last chance showdown. So Tucker up there in the points, needs a good run here as we head back to the green flag.
And Timothy Smith on the loud pedal again. Green flag flies. Battle for position number 2. Keep your eye on Dylan Yeager to that inside line. Smith gets back up to the boards and they fan out through. Here comes Eiler on Edens.
Yeah, good race for second. Now Eiler hits the wall. He's going to lose third to Yeager. He's going to lose fourth to Forster. And now Yeager is trying to take second away on the inside of the racetrack. Look at the bite off of turn number 4. Dylan Yeager from 7th now up to 2nd to the inside of James Edens.
Beerline just body checked Braden Eiler for that position and didn't get anything out of it. And now Semmelman moves to the inside in the top 10 in his first start of the season. Where do you watch here? Some fantastic racing up front. Yeager is on the wheel.
Yeah, they are almost 3 wide for the top spot as Timothy Smith looks to be losing a little bit of speed here. He doesn't have the car to go to the inside like Yeager does. He likes the middle. The top just seems a little bit too treacherous. Look at Smith. He's about a lane higher than Yeager, just not as much grip down there as they continue to go side by side for second. Forster's trying to close in, and Tyler Schell is trying to get by Alex Bergeron. The race for the championship point lead is getting a little bit hot and heavy right there off of turn number 4. Schell to the outside of Bergeron.
As they battle up for that position, Yeager continues to work the inside of James Edens. And I almost think I'm having deja vu again, Chase. We've seen Timothy Smith dominate early in these races, lead a lot of laps, and then it seems like one quick car comes from behind and takes it all away from him. Dylan Yeager has been up on the wheel. Timothy Smith has led the most laps in this one. We're closing in on 11 laps to go in round number 5. And I don't want to say same song, different verse, but Timothy Smith up in front, going to have to try to close this thing out.
You got to imagine there's some nerves behind that as well, Tim. He's led a lot of laps, but he's never been able to go to victory lane here with this World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. He doesn't know what that's like. He is, trying to get that first win out of the way. There's got to be some nerves along with that. He's got James Edens, a series veteran, multi-time winner. You got Dylan Yeager back there, a winner with the late model series in the past. So those guys know how to get the job done. Yeager's slipping back, but now Edens is actually keeping pace with Smith down the front stretch with 7 laps to go.
And off that shot that we saw with Kenny Miller and Hayden Cardwell, I was going to say they were working on a yellow. I don't know if that was what brought the yellow out, but this little pack right here was getting quite racy, and we saw a couple of right rears being served and all that fun stuff. So that might be where this caution flag came from. We'll see. We'll take a look at the replay.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what exactly happened there, but here's the CarQuest replay. Looks like you got Kenny Miller right there, the 23. Oh, and just ran out of real estate there for Cardwell as they came down the front straightaway. Kenny Miller was trying to come up the track, but Cardwell had a run, and Miller just pulls it into the infield and calls it a night. Tough way to finish this one out after getting the win last week at Lincoln Speedway. Kenny Miller, and there you see him back in the pit area, and he is done.
Yeah, they battled for a few laps like that. You had to believe something had to give at some point. 28 laps to be completed. When we come back across the stripe, we'll have 7 laps to go. Timothy Smith, James Edens, and I think the wild card in this is that 48 of Dylan Yeager. Can he get enough to the inside to take this lead in 7 laps?
And Kendall Tucker is now up to 10th position from 18th to 10th, and following along with him is the driver that started 19th up to 11th for Tyler Ducharme. So some big movers here in this one. They've still got some 8-7 laps to go here, maybe a little bit of chaos up here. Those guys could find themselves up in the top 5 as we head back to the green flag. Timothy Smith, good restart there, pulls away from James Edens. Here comes Yeager right back to the inside in turn 1.
pinned to that inside wall is the 48 of Dylan Yeager trying to get it away. And we have that three-way battle for the lead as Smith tries to hold on to the outside. Edens through the middle, Yeager on the inside. What a show.
Great stuff at the front of the field, kind of like what we saw with the late model series. It was Barrett Bishop, Blake Majulis, and Evan C. Three-car race in that one. We're having that same duel here, 3 cars. It's Timothy Smith, James Edens, and Dylan Yeager. Smith hit the wall. New leader down the back straightaway. James Edens takes it away as Timothy Smith hit the wall off of turn number 2.
What a strong run for Edens. 4 laps to go, and he now has possession of the lead. Dylan Yeager doing his thing on the inside. And where did Aiden Forster come from? He's been hanging around the top 5 all night long, and now he goes to the outside.
Here comes Aiden Forster up to the 3rd spot. He's not out of this thing quite yet as Edens and Smith continue to go at it for the lead as Timothy Smith does not want to see another win go out the window here. Steps back to the top side of the racetrack. 2 to go, and Smith is going to lay it all on the line here, Tim.
Smith needs to do something to try to take it away from Edens. Edens trying to hold on and take away the victory in round number 5. They'll come to the white flag this time. What a run for Timothy Smith. He's got one more. Looking to the inside, trying to get one more last-ditch effort to take this one away to the inside. Not going to get there. James Edens is your winner on round number 5 at I-55. And again, Timothy Smith, heartbroken, leads the most laps, comes home in second with Dylan Yeager in a third, but James Edens, what an effort through the middle, had a great run and took it away from the 86.
And Timothy Smith, you know that win is coming. He is so fast and just cannot put it all together here with this World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. He's had a 5th, a 3rd. He was in the top 3 last week and finished 13th, and man, oh man, you know it's coming, but that kid has been super, super fast. Good run for Yeager in 3rd, and then Tyler Schell gets by Alex Bergeron. Bergeron gets passed by Avila, so Schell's going to gain some points in the championship as well.
Again, it's going to shake up the championship standings as we move forward in this season. And there are your results on the screen. James Edens, Timothy Smith, Dylan Yeager. Aiden Forster comes back to 4th, and Tyler Schell in 5th. Avila, Bergeron, Beerline. Aiden Beerline was up near the front in his heat, was up in front here this evening. I don't think the finish indicative of where he was running all night long in 8th place. Kendall Tucker from the back to 9th, and Tyler Ducharme in position number 10. And what a great run by those guys. Heffler in 11th, J.D. Brown in 12th, Cardwell from the back a couple of times in this one to 13th, Whitner, Giglio 15th, Semmelman in his first feature of the season in 16th, Eiler 17th, Johnny Anderson in 18th, 19th is Kenny Miller, and 20th is Tanner Pettit. Chase, what a race, and at the end, James Edens digs deep and picks up the victory. You've caught up with him in victory lane.
James Edens, the winner here at I-55 Raceway, driving the Swindell Speed Lab Esports number 52. And James, he started up towards the front, and Timothy looked like he had the car to beat. Then Yeager came to play a little bit there. And there at the end, Timothy makes one mistake, and you're close enough to make the move and grab your first win of the season. How's it feel?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, that was a really good race. You know, we started on the pole there, led a little bit. Timothy went by us on the top, which I kind of had a feeling was going to happen. And, you know, we just had to be patient and let the track come to us and, you know, hang on for 35 laps.
How tough's it been this year? You started out really good with a 2nd place run, but since then, just things haven't gone your way. 20th, 19th, and 14th. What's it like to rebound with this victory? You know, it's probably a little bittersweet. We know you're a championship contender, but you're pretty far back now at this point. So this win, a little bit bittersweet?
Yeah, for sure. You know, we definitely had really good speed all year. Yeah, just haven't had any luck in the features. But, you know, yeah, we're probably pretty much out of the championship for this year, but, you know, maybe we can bring home a solid top 5 and get a good payday.
Well, a winner here tonight, the very first time here at I-55 Raceway for the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. Nice job tonight, James.
Thank you.
All right, James Edens, the winner here with the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series at the I-55 Raceway, and 2nd place finisher here tonight. And just, I'm sure, a little bit of a disappointment here tonight for Timothy Smith. It's been a hell of a season for you. A 5th, a 14th, a 3rd, and a 13th, and now a 2nd. So many laps led there, Timothy, and tonight, P2. What are your emotions after that one, after being so close yet again?
I mean, I'm happy it's a good points run, but I don't know when the first one's going to come, but I think it's a running joke at this point. I led so many laps and no win, but when you make one mistake on the top off of two, it shows with these guys. He immediately just went away. So it shows with these guys. It's tough to win, and it definitely got me again tonight. But no, it was a good points run, man.
What was the thought process there? You were running the middle there towards the last 15, 20 laps, and all of a sudden on that restart you decided to go back to the top, and that's when you got the wall. What was the decision making for the line change there?
Well, we were testing all week, and the line moves around here a lot. Like one time, Yeager was like 2/10 faster than all of us, I think, and he was coming on the bottom. And then Edens was fast in the middle. And then I jumped back up to the top because I thought I'd come back in, and I thought I had it locked away. And as soon as I was thinking that, I tapped the wall one time, and he got away from me. And I think I had the fastest car overall, just driver error.
Well, Timothy, you've been fun to watch all season long. You've led a ton of laps, and we know that first win's coming. Nice job tonight.
Thank you. I just got to thank Tiger Towing, BPM, TSR Stewart House, M9 setups, 129 TP Designs, just Kenny Miller, Jack, Blake, just everybody helping me out, man. It's been a ride so far. We just got to keep it up.
All right, Timothy Smith, great points night. He finishes up in P2, and a good run, the first podium finish of the season for the driver out of Hamilton Township, New Jersey, Dylan Yeager, with a P3 here tonight. Dylan, this has probably been a season that you'd like to forget. Only made one feature coming into tonight, but this is a third-place run. I feel like you're more of a late model guy, so a third-place run here tonight for you. Rolling the bottom real nice. You got to be happy with it.
Yeah, it's been such a terrible season for us at CFM and myself. I haven't made a race since Volusia, so I'm just glad to have something to look back at the end of the season and be like, oh, I ran good that race, yeah. But anyways, I had a game plan going into tonight. Just go out there, run the bottom, try and compete for a win, because I've always ran good here in a sprint car. My only Apex win, which is a league that runs on Thursday nights, my only win in their league is at this place. So I just went out there, stuck to my game plan and ended up with third. I think at one point I had the winning car, but just too many mistakes on the bottom just cost me there. But I'll take it, and it's good that we finally got a decent run on our hands this season.
I thought it was kind of funny. You were on the bottom making a lot of ground up, and then Timothy looked to try and go down there, and he just could not hit it. He was like a lane off of it, and you were gaining on him. It looked like it was pretty technical to run it the right way here tonight.
Yeah, and I was set up straight for the bottom, so if you didn't have a certain adjustment on your car, you would just go to the bottom and just skate up the racetrack. Like, there's no way you would be able to stick the bottom if you didn't have what we had in the car, or at least me. But, like I said, I just tried to stick to it the whole race and try and get them. But, Edens and Smith are probably some of the best in the series this year. So, just to be up there running decent in the sprint car series is really awesome. And, hopefully that's not the only podium we have this year. Maybe I can turn my season around and start running decent. But, this feels good, and hopefully I can ride the momentum into the next couple weeks.
All right, Dylan. Well, nice job tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you. 1 second. I'd just like to thank everybody that helps me out in this whole deal. CFM Esports, Majul C Speed Shop, Nick Leonard for the sponsorship this year. He was with me in the late model series, and he's a great friend and a great sponsor. So, thanks to him. Chris Ferguson, he also sponsors me. Great guy. JDM Designs, Toters Isle of Frenchies, all my teammates, John Helms, Blake Majulis, Evan C., all those guys, Augustine for the spot, he's great. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next week, hopefully back in the interview booth. That would be pretty awesome.
All right, Dylan Yeager with a P3 run here tonight, driving car number 48 for CFM Esports. And Tim, another great race here with this World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. Can't wait to do it again next Monday.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it again next Monday. There's been, it seems like the last couple of rounds, it's kind of been unpredictable going in after qualifying, and we'll see if it continues on. We're going to change the calendar. We're going to go to January, and we're going to head to Fairbury for round number 6. We're halfway through, and we've seen some exciting racing so far. Can't wait to see what the second half holds for us.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get to Fairbury. That is one of the best tracks in iRacing when it comes to action on the track. It's kind of similar here to I-55, just a little less banking, but it's a small track. It's known for sliders, and we love to see that. So excited to get back to Fairbury next week. A couple short tracks for the next few weeks with this CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. So excited to see what transpires here. The championship battle's getting hot, and we're having some good races as well.
Absolutely. We are halfway through the points battle, back to 26 between Bergeron and Shell as we leave this evening at I-55. That's going to do it for us here this evening. On behalf of our entire crew, Zach Johnson, Chase Rodman, my name is Tim Terry. We will see you next week when we say let's go racing from Fairbury. Until next time, keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.